When is the last time that you just let yourself exist? You just let yourself be who you are right now, just the way you are, without trying to fix yourself, without trying to release something, without trying to work on your shadow. Because there's a part of the spiritual awakening that not a lot of people talk about. And it's not about skipping out on the work, it's about not being able to leave it. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what it is, this healing trap that we can get stuck in when we kind of make our identity about being somebody who is always working on ourselves or always needing something to work on or always thinking that there's something that we can change to get better, and how to identify this, but also how to move out of this so that we can finally raise our vibration and not get stuck there. So let's dive in. Recently, I've been realizing that if I'm not doing any work, healing work, inner work, or kind of like shadow work on myself, I feel a little bit strange, or I feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm almost addicted to healing, addicted to doing more work. And I almost feel like I can't get enough. It was almost like I got so addicted to it that even when I was in a good place, I was like, ooh, what else can I try? What new modality or what new thing can I try to actually make myself be better? But in the end, I realized that is actually keeping me stuck in a lower vibration, because I am constantly seeking, I am constantly feeling that I am not enough the way I am, and that I need to do something to get better. I caught myself and I was like, wow. And it happened because I was reading this book, The 5 Success Principles by Sarah Landon. It's amazing. I really recommend it. I found it at my library, so I think it's pretty common and you can find it in a lot of places. But she opens the book by saying, you are everything you wish to be. You already are. Let that sink in. She continues on that by saying, your human experience is not a quest or a test to do something that will finally make you worthy. There is nothing that you can achieve or accomplish in this human experience, including more healing, that could make you more worthy than the divine, infinite worthiness that is the truth of you. And when I read that, I was really hit hard. And I wonder if it's hitting you too, in a really good way. Because I just realized the universe is going to reflect back on you what you believe. So if you think that something's wrong with you, or if you think that you still need to work on yourself, or if you think that you're seeking for answers or seeking for something, you will always find something to seek. You will always be in that vibration. And so that is the trap. The trap is that we continue to think that as soon as we get here, or as soon as we heal this, or as soon as we get to this higher vibration, then things will be okay. Then I'll stop. But we never do. As soon as we get to that next place, we're like, ooh, maybe I should try this, or maybe I need to heal this, or we see some new part of ourselves. And for sure, when we start on the spiritual journey, we often start by doing a lot of work. We start by doing something kind of like big and huge, and we have these big aha moments. And that's why we want to continue, because we actually start getting better and we start feeling better about ourselves and our lives. And so it makes sense that we kind of those practices or those things that we do, that we start working on ourselves, are important. The only thing is, it's important not to get stuck in those. And to help understand what is going on here as we're healing and raising our vibration, I'm going to talk about the 3D, 4D, 5D, which I'm sure you probably understand already. So 3D is when you're on autopilot and you're kind of in a lack, fear, there's a lot of competition. It's about duality, right, wrong. Then something happens in your life and the veil gets lifted and you start realizing that things might not be exactly as they are. So you move into 4D. 4D is a moment of transition, and it's a place where you start to do a lot of healing, you start to do a lot of work on yourself, and you start to progress and raise your vibration. You're going from 3D, you already raised it to 4D. And 4D is often described as the transition state. And actually, in this book, again, she mentions that. She says, the fourth dimension is a state of consciousness where one is in a higher vibration than in the third dimension. Many people spend decades or their entire adult lifetime in the fourth dimension of transformation, because they're always trying to fix something about themselves. And that is because 4D can feel super addictive. Why? Because it makes you feel productive. And since we live in that kind of society where it's always about doing and action, I think we get used to the fact that it's like, oh, I have a goal. I want to raise my vibration. I can do something about it. And so we start doing the work. And that's actually initially good. But if we get stuck in that state, that is not good, because then we can't actually get to the fifth dimension. Because in the fifth dimension, as she says in the book, The fifth dimension is pure love. Your well-being and your abundance is assured. You feel a sense of peace, harmony, fulfillment, inspiration, and correction. And you don't have to do anything for that. You are already whole. And that is including all the things that need to be healed. Because 5D is about accepting yourself, still working, still doing the healing, but without this lack mentality or without this feeling of like, ooh, I need to get there, or something even about judging where you are in the first place, like even judging the 3D or judging the 4D or judging the 5D. In this book, again, she actually mentions that none of these are actually better or in any hierarchy. They're just different. They're just different experiences. But we, I think, especially when we're on the spiritual path and wanting to get better, we start judging and putting them in a hierarchy and start judging even ourselves for where we are. And so I think that is where we need to be very careful and not get trapped into that mentality. So how do you know if you're in the healing trap? Well, one of the things that you can know is, do you feel guilty not working on yourself? Do you feel guilty not letting yourself just be? When is the last time that you just let yourself be, warts and all, healing and all the things that you're dealing with? Just let yourself be. Have you accepted yourself exactly the way you are? I know I haven't. I'm still in that process. That's why I'm making this video. But I'm catching myself, realizing that I'm not letting myself just be. The second thing is, has healing become part of your identity? Is it almost like you don't know what you would do if you weren't healing yourself? What would you do? What if you did nothing today? What would it be like? Have you thought about that? Maybe let yourself have a day where you don't work on yourself and see who it is. Who are you as a person if you're not somebody working on yourself or healing yourself or even wanting to heal the world? Who are you? We're not supposed to be anything. We are already ourselves. And the third thing is always, what is that, oh, if only I could, not have an ego, I would finally be okay. Or if only I would, do this, or if only I could heal this part of my shadow self. It's that if only. It's like waiting until you're somewhere else to finally be able to live. And instead of just actually integrating the part of yourself that needs integrating and needs shadow work into who you are and accepting it exactly who you are, how you are today without needing to change it. Easier said than done. So if you are in the healing trap, like I think I am right now, here are some things to do. First of all, don't make this a new thing that you have to fix. The first thing is just to observe it and to then actually maybe even laugh at yourself. I'm laughing at myself these days. I'm trying to be a little bit more compassionate about myself when I catch myself maybe doing things that I'd rather not be doing. But I'm like, okay, I'm now in the healing trap where I feel like it's part of my identity and that I almost don't even really know what I would do now if I don't work on myself. It's like so ingrained in me that I'm trying to now unpick it from my identity. The second thing is, take a pause. Take your foot off the accelerator, stop doing something. And I know that is so tough. As I mentioned, in our society, if we're not doing something, we feel guilty. But that is exactly one of the things that we should start to do. Take your foot off. Let some of the work that you've actually been doing have time to process. If you keep adding a new layer of work, then sometimes you can't, you mix too many things together, too many types of healings, and you don't know which one's actually going to work, or you don't even let that one have the time to do its effect. But it's also just taking a pause, resting, and not always doing. Let it integrate, but also just the integration is stop doing and start loving yourself now, exactly as you are, warts and all, with all the healing that you still think you need to do, with all the problems that you still have. Love yourself now. That is almost the best way to be able to get into the 5D. It's almost like a catch-22. I get it. The best way to get to 5D is not to worry about it or judge yourself for being in 3D or 4D, and just accepting where you are. That will shoot you into 5D faster than if you actually do any work. So to end this video, I'd like to just pick a card from our highest self as a message of love for this moment, a message of encouragement. Let's see what comes. Ooh, interesting. We got the 5 of Cups. And the 5 of Cups traditionally is a card that is about almost like crying over spilled milk, looking at all the things that you don't have, but not noticing the things that you have. And I think that's actually just perfect in this video, just to remember that what you concentrate on. We know that. The more you what you concentrate on is what's going to grow in your life. So if you concentrate on all the things that you are lacking, all the things that you don't have, all the healing that you still need to do, or all the things you wish you had done differently in the past, that's what's going to grow, and you're going to continue to be in that mindset. Whereas if you concentrate on the things that are going well, all the things that you have already healed, all the things that are maybe still imperfect in your life, but that you can accept and surrender to, that is what's going to grow. And gratitude is one of the best ways to raise our vibration. And what I love actually in this particular deck, though, in other decks, sometimes it can be a bit more negative, like 3 of the cups can be broken, or maybe like they could just be spilt. But in this one, the cat is just super curious about all 5 of these cups. And I think that's exactly what it can be like when we are in a healing space that is very, let's say, healthy. Because when we're going to be in 5D, it doesn't mean we're perfect. It doesn't mean that there's nothing to be healing. It just means that we're healing it from a place of abundance and love and compassion, and not a place of lack. And I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say in this video, because I know I'm a little bit stuck, I think, in the 4D of the lack, the wanting to be healed, or the wanting to think that as soon as I'm here, I'll be better. But I think if I can concentrate and see how I am already whole, I am already worthy, I am already perfect, exactly the way I am, even if I have things to heal, that is what is going to actually help me heal and be in a better place, and maybe even enjoy the process of healing better than if it comes from lack. So on that, I'm wishing you lots of love and lots of laughter as you also learn to get out of the healing trap and fall into 5D easily and peacefully, and like just enjoy the process. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next video. Thanks so much for watching.